Good morning, Vietnam. Just kidding, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It is day one at King of the Street. I am filming this in real time. Not sure if this is how the whole video is going to be, but we are here, set up. We got our camper. Dave made it here for the no prep. We got Papa G in the house with his camper, golf cart, and he's off easy today. As you guys can see, we're putting a bunch of weight in the truck. Sarah called for the street drive first thing when we got here. I know some of the competitors are just pulling in. Like I said, guys, it's hard to film and do an event. We'll do our best. We're gonna get on this street drive. Shad is en route, but not here yet. Let's do this 100 miles. On the street drive, about 10 miles in, jam into the Miley. We got the Myrrh, and it's a beautiful day in the eastern shore of the United States of America. It is 64 degrees. I'd probably say the real feels about 59. And it's cooking up to be a great weekend. We are optimistic going into day one. Let's see how she shakes up. We'll check back in with you in a little while. Well, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Myra and I just kind of enjoyed the Miley. The scenes, we're at 99.8. By the time we get to the checkpoint, we'll be at 100. And that is our 100-mile street drive in the books. Our street drive complete. We're now gonna unload all the weight we added, unbolt our 420Vs, bolt on our Bogarts, and that's about it. We're gonna go over some tune-ups real quick with Papa G, and then after that, we should be ready for some drag racing. Make sure Dave's ready for his no prep, and try to enjoy everyone's company. We got the Shadow Rack should be here now, and Gordon made us I'd say it was like a solid 8 breakfast. 8 out of 10. Like, some biscuits would have hit the spot, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. It's just like we talked about. Got the team. Shad is here. His wife Kennedy is also here. We got the Bogarts going on. Everyone wants more of the Myrrh. You got any wisdom for the channel, Myrrh?
New drugs. A lot cheaper.
Yeah, he's not lying. So we're gonna get ready. Looks like Tiffany and whoever she's with finished the challenge as well. Proof that Shad was here. And just like that, my truck's ready for racing. We're getting Dave's slicks bolted on for the no prep. Tire pressure adjusted. Let's go. We're gonna work on the tune-up now, but we're ready. See what that does. Guys, we are in line for tech. A lot of fancy trucks here. Matt even is in his single cab. Josh Bordis bought Matt's old 3rd gen Tiffany's truck. Not sure who owns this. This is a new truck. And then you got Giordano's OBS, and then Austin Wally's quad cab. But getting her teched in, there's Patrick Brown's truck. See how they do. just finished our driver's meeting, and now it is time to see what she'll do at the drag strip. We get to make 2 qualifying passes. Not sure if we'll take both, but we'll see what it's made of. First pass in the books. Went real conservative just because of it being no prep and stuff. We went a 6.65, so at 109. So the mile an hour is there for the power. We just had a real soft 60 foot. We're gonna turn it up a little bit and try to best that. Really, we want to see like a 640 would be ideal. So we'll just turn it up 1 tune and see how she do.
Let's see what she can do. Can she cut a light?
We went a 647. We just got our ladder set. We are lined up with Tiffany, the same person we went. I'm hoping that we can get around her, but anything can happen. The number 1 qualifier was Lewis Carter. Number 2 qualifier was Tyler Saffel. Number 3 qualifier, Chris Patterson. And we were the number 4 qualifier. So let's see what it'll do. We'll it is what it is. Anybody's race. That's what I try to tell everybody, like blowing tires off, red lights, just play it smart. We went our first round of elimination against Tiffany. We did get the win, and now we are paired up with Lewis. We are in the semifinals, so we'll see. I think what I'll do is I'll launch like I'm gonna run him, and if he spins or makes a mistake, I'll stay in it. If he don't, then we'll let out. I think that's the best. It's just not worth the 10 points.
Carter, number 1, McCormick, number 4. Sideways out there, but can he get up right side?
All right, guys, so we had a little pop on that last pass. I pulled over to make sure it was okay. Looks like we just hit the limiter on the rev limiter. I thought it was set a certain way, and it was incorrect. Murr is servicing the trans. We're just going through it. We're gonna run the valves and then get ready for the dyno. For the dyno, in order to make these little injectors make even more power, we're gonna bolt our dual pump kit on. That'll be the additional 14 mil, so we can run even more rail pressure with a non-recommended duration and see how much we can get out of these little guys. So we got the limiter problem fixed. We went out in the semifinals, so 480 points, I think. Yeah, 480. And I'm pretty sure I actually lost because I hit the brakes. But we got a lot better on the tree today. Hopefully that kind of goes over to dirt drag. Myra, what's your expert opinion on the trans here?
Transmission, I mean, look at this filter. It looks the same as when we put it in.
Wow. So we just did 4 640, 650 passes. We actually sprayed a little nitrous tonight. We got a little carried away. And we got a pretty good 60 foot against Lewis. I also treat him, but he drove around us. We went a 158 to the 60 foot. What you doing over there, bud?
Did you get my picture?
I got a video.
Okay, guys, cut.
All right, so guys, we went through the lash. It still sounded a little funny. Trans looked great, converter bolts tight, all that. Still sounded funny. I look up, rail pressure's at full rail pressure. So I think we either hit a limiter or the rail sensor came unplugged. Either way, it's fixed. Everything's healthy. We're ready for the dyno tomorrow. We're gonna shut her down. I hope to get you guys some driver interviews, dyno content. It's hard to drag race and all that. Who won the lightweight? No prep. So Travis, Travis Trent with his Fummins, and then who won the? Actually, you were an announcer. Who won middleweight?
Middleweight was Chris Gelbaugh.
Okay, heavyweight. Landon.
I think it was Landon.
Okay.
Who he did? Yeah.
And shout out to Gordon the fourth over here.
Number 4.
Show him that salt and pepper hair, young man.
Look at that.
It's hard to believe that in 20 years that will look like that.
This.
But we're happy to have them both here, and we're gonna shut her down for the night. Keely's excited. Kids are in bed. You got a Bud Light Lime in your hand.
Queens.
There you go. So, and Dave is going to figure out why his truck is a giant piece of shit. To you for day 2. Full disclosure, got you guys some dyno footage this morning. We also dynoed the Duramax, 619 horsepower, so a little bit more tweaking on it netted us quite a big return, and again, that's fuel only, just with what you guys have seen on the channel. 619, which is awesome. This morning I got a couple dyno runs. I really thought we were gonna do driver interviews, everything. I slept terrible. I actually just woke up from a nap, and now we're back in it. Dave switched to smaller injectors to go do some more racing, hopefully get in the 5s. While off camera, we went ahead and got our second 14 mil pump on plumbed. That's the nice part about this truck, because you could flip flop so quick. We leave everything there. We just forgot the pulley, which Meyer was able to get. And then, unfortunately, we did break our belt tensioner, so we got another one of those as well. Flashed in the tune file, and now we got our radials aired up pretty good. And we're about to throw some weight in the bed. And then I'm going to put my Hot Shot Secret R82 in this old girl here. Really boost the cetane up on her. But Dave's going to go race some more. Not sure if we'll get any footage, but we are dead last on the dyno. Last people, and we'll see how it does.
Make sure you're in 4-wheel drive. Good luck, buddy.
Alright guys, so Dave went 642 on the first shakedown pass. Gonna leave a little harder, raise the limiter, give him a little bit more nitrous, and he'll do it again. But we are up shortly on the dyno, so we're gonna shift gears and head over there. All right, 3,075 for Mr. 3000. Here's the dyno graph. 3,075. We are in the chute for the dyno. Tyler Sappel is up. We got what we think should get us into second place, hopefully, loaded up, and we'll see how the dust settles. Horsepower.
What the?
That
25,
was
45.
way more than 1,800. I can see that.
I don't want to be the one that just steals the thunder here, but that is a new stock block record.
And Street Fighter.
Micro
And
freaking records.
and Street Fighters.
Micro records.
Blem Street Fighters, cast pistons, and 250% overs. Lenny, I apologize in advance. We did exactly what you told us not to. Chad and Murr got us all swapped over. Dave, unfortunately, watching me, did not get to make another pass, but I appreciate him being there. He got some of the footage too. And then Dave started moving tires back. We got the weights out, tailgate back off. And we just got to set tire pressure in the morning and we'll be ready for some dirt drags. Truck made, all right, so the truck made 25.45. So clearly what we did with the injectors and the pumps worked. Again, that was a lot of rail pressure. Always consult with your injector manufacturer and your tuner before you try to do dumb stuff like us. But again, same motor you guys watch us build, stock block, cast piston, Street Fighters, stock shelf, and just some nitrous and a lot of prayer. But it still starts, still runs, and we'll be ready for dirt drags. Also, you know, this man right here, some of the best food you'll ever eat. You're welcome. Guys, morning of day 3, dirt drags, 3 qualifying rounds, then sled pulls, or sorry, ladder elimination, and then we got some sled pulls. We're sitting again second by 10 points, tied with Lewis Carter, and then third place, or I guess fourth place, is a couple points behind, so it's still tight. There's 2,000 points up for grabs today. Let's see how we do. Guys, so after our second qualifying pass, we had a little second gear slippage. Myers adjusting the band. We're sitting either 1 or 2 on qualifying, so we're happy with that. We're just gonna sit out the third round and wait for the bracket, do our best, limp it through, and see if we can make it to the sled pull. after dirt drag qualifying, we are number 3, Tyler Saffel number 1, Lewis Carter number 2, we're 3rd, LS Bryan number 4, Chris Patterson number 5. So we are 480 points, looking good so far. So we got a first round bye. I just had to break the beams. Now we're waiting for our second round. Past our second round, Joey Adelman just killed it on the tree. Second gear seems to be working. Not too sure, it happened so fast, but we're gonna just let the truck cool off and see who our next pair is. I got my kryptonite. So we won against Dylan LaFord in the Duramax, and now we are in the semifinals. It's Patrick Brown versus myself, LS Bryan versus Lewis Carter. It's just the intercooler's getting hot, but I think they're gonna let us cool down for a little bit. But you guys already know, second gen VP trucks are my kryptonite. Guys, on to the finals against LS Bryan. I finally beat my kryptonite, but Patrick Brown did not make it easy. Let's go. So it's kind of pandemonium. We have 2 hours from dirt drags. Since we went out in the finals, it's a lot. Hurt the second gear bend, no shocker there. That's kind of why LS Bryan just got off between the tree and not having second gear. Shad's getting the duels, Myers slipping in a band. We got Gordon, the 4th, and Owen moving weights. That's what I like to see. This is what it takes, guys. Oh, and honestly, Dave has been instrumental. He really has. We've got the weight box, you know, so. This is what it takes, guys. Guys, it was quite the scramble, but our team got it done. Seriously, Dave, Meyer, Shad, and then we had Owen, Gordon Jr., Gordon Sr., 3 and 4. Everyone put in the work. We got it. Be curious to see. We changed a little bit on the slip hole. Hopefully it doesn't bite us. We put about 400 more pounds up front, but man, she looks dirty, but good at the same time. Look at all these units. I think we're the 3rd last hook. It should be, there's me, someone else, and then Chris Patterson. Everyone voted to let him finish his trans swap. I'm really glad. That's just shows you a lot about the sportsmanship of the group, but we are pulling very close to the end, which is good. Then we know how far we need to go. As I sit here in the driver's seat, you just get a little nervous, but so far it's looking all right. Got to keep track of a few more guys, but I think the truck, relying on it for sled pulling, I don't think you could ask for a better event for it. So hopefully we do all right, and it lives for both. That's the key. guys, we just finished the first heat, 3:59 at 29.7. Currently in first. Chris still has the pole, but I think we've made it big enough gap where if he beats us, he only gets the 10 points. So we got to do it again. Old girl just happy as a clam. Really wish that air filter would stay on, but it is what it is. But she is dirty, dusty, but still very much alive. We're in the tech lane to go through tech one more time. And then we are kind of middle of the pack. We drew the 17th chip, so I think we're kind of like halfway through the field. So hopefully we can do it again and secure a victory. But input shaft, axles, drive shafts, you never know.
You had spray that time? Yeah, I saw it.
Am I good?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are back at the shop. Not completely unpacked, but we are at least everything out of the trailers in the shop. So tomorrow we'll spend the day getting everything unpacked, put back to where it needs to go. I did get the tools back, so at least we can attempt to work tomorrow. But drive home went good, and yeah, it's kind of bittersweet for me. I don't get to see a lot of these people like Shad and Meyer, and even Gordon for that matter, very often. So as fun as it is competing, being nervous all weekend and calculating and strategy, you kind of lose sight of all the people that are there for you to support you. So it goes by quick. Meyer goes home tomorrow, and it's bittersweet to say the least, but we got it done again. So this is our third time in a row. Again, 19 we watched, 20 we grenaded absolutely everything we owned, and then we've been building on KOS now for 3 years, technically ATC. So this year we drag raced. 6:41 was our fastest time at like 1:09. We qualified third. Our first pairing, I believe, was Tiffany, and I don't exactly know what happened with her. I want to say it was a transmission, but hopefully I'm not wrong there. But it was acting up or something. So we got, I'm not gonna say easy round win. I think she still went like 680. But we went through that round. Then we got geared up for round two. We drew Lewis Carter. He was faster than us by like 2/10, so I knew we had to kill the tree. We did everything right. We staged, got everything go. I definitely beat him off the line. I got to the very end and it like popped on me, and I was like, that's really weird. So instantly slammed on the brakes to pull off to the side. And looking at the footage, I clearly hit the brakes before the finish line, so he did get around us. I wish I would have stopped maybe 10 feet after, and maybe we would have won. But either way, we pulled over. Ended up being the limiter was just set incorrectly. So on our drag race, we kept it pretty conservative, 1600 microseconds. We ran a 41 spool jet, so we were able to just kind of go from the first beam, and then as you guys, if you saw in the video, I'd first beam it, and then as soon as I bumped at the same time, we came up on the limiter, and then we went ahead and left the line. So we ran 1 kit of nitrous the whole night. It was a 99 jet. It came on at 40 pounds of boost just to try and wake the truck up. Had the gate set pretty low, so again, I'd say 1300 horsepower given what we weighed. And yeah, we went out in the quarterfinals because we did the heads up, and moved on. Lewis Carter did end up to go on and win the drag race, so congratulations to him. Earlier that morning, before drag racing, we called for the street drive. So we get there Thursday, got our camper set up, pit set up. Sarah and Matt and the Smoke and Speed crew had the bowling alley ready for us. We had some awesome pizza and wings, a good game of bowling, which, Gordon, I know you're watching this. I beat you in the second game. That's all that matters. Somehow I bowled 2 strikes in frame 10, but Gordon did get me the first game. We wake up, Sarah says street drive, so we actually did the street drive. Now, because the truck has a Cajun and everything else now, it was just me and Meyer. Me, Meyer, Taylor Swift, Lil Miley, banged out that 100 miles, came back, everything was good, and then we went drag racing. So we went to bed, really nothing. We pulled the transpan, everything looked fine, put that same fluid right back in, and we got ready for the dyno. Now, in this event, if you win it, you get to pick your dyno slot. I always pick last, and the reason why I pick last is I just need to know how much to put in it. Being where we were sitting at in points, we wanted to be just behind Chris Patterson, or just ahead of the person behind Chris Patterson. So we were shooting for second place. Chris made a huge 3,000 smack. Actually, I think he made like a 2,600 smack and then a 3,000 smack. And I, in the commentary there, like, you knew he wasn't done because the cigar hadn't been lit yet. So once I saw the cigar lit, I knew he was good there. 3,000 horsepower, that's his 3rd year. I don't know if it's his 3rd year. Maybe 2nd year he's done 3K at KOS, because last year with the front wheel drive. But either way, always steals the dyno show, and it's hard earned. And I got a lot of kudos to him for, on an event where he knows he doesn't need to make that much power, he does it anyway. It's kind of a boss move for sure. So we needed to beat, I believe it was Steven Giordano at 1,800 horsepower. I loaded in something that I thought was going to make around 2,000, 2,100. We ran a second 14 mil extra G pump. So at this point, our cast piston, stock block, Street Fighter motor that you guys watch us put together, 250% over dynamites. We added our second pump. So we had 2 extra G 14 mil CP3s, our single smaller Air Dog, which is the 220 5G that anyone can buy. They sell it everywhere. We install them, like, it's the off-the-shelf pump. We had it loaded up. I ran 2 Mega Jets and just built the boost, smacked the pedal, prayed that whatever was about to go through went through, and I heard Matt yell 25, 45, and I was like, oh god, that's a lot of torque. Like, I must have done something wrong. Nope, that was our horsepower. Our torque was 3,200 foot-pounds. So clearly we were done after that. I do got to give a shout out to Chris though. Came up to me, said I should try it again. A younger Josh may have tried, but we were happy with what we had. That put us safely in second place. So we backed it off the dyno. Some other good numbers. Lewis, I believe, did 1,700. And then, man, shout out to these Duramaxes with these like drop-in turbochargers, stock bottom ends, and nitrous, like 1,000 horsepower, 1,100 horsepower, 1,200 horsepower. And then my man Nicholas Aruda with the 6-liter, little backfire, didn't even let out, stayed in it and smacked the number. I think it was like 800 or 900 horsepower, but honestly, 6-liter guy here, I kind of fangirl over his truck a little bit, and Seth's truck as well. And then I do know Austin Wally also did, like, I think it was like 1,400 horsepower as well. So again, if I missed your name, there's a lot to take in. We got a little bit of dyno footage. And for those of you guys that don't know, Thursday morning I woke up, shivered all night, was throwing up. I felt terrible. I ended up driving to the event and not letting Meyer drive because I was worried I was going to get car sick. So I drove, got there, unloaded, kind of felt Friday morning I woke up and I probably would have been okay, but the street drive really did a number on my stomach. So I was kind of like, drag racing, I'm already nervous. So Saturday anyway, I got about 4 or 5 people's dyno runs, and I actually ended up laying down and taking a nap. So I apologize to the competitors that I didn't get. You're not any less important than anybody else. I didn't feel good. So we do our dyno hit. We talk some strategy. At this point, Lewis and I believe, are tied for second, and Chris Patterson is 1 ahead of us by 10 points. So felt pretty good. We got it ready for dirt drags. Again, thank you to Shad and Meyer, Gordon the fourth, and then his buddy, Owen. They were getting the tires swapped around stuff. Dave was helping out. And we got the tires swapped over to dirt drags. Dirt drags is pretty simple. You just set it up for drag racing just with our STSs, got our tire pressure set. We had our nitrous tune-up ready to go. Again, it was Tune 3. We turned on 1 kit just to help us get out of the hole after we left. And the truck did really well. We were the 3rd fastest. It was Tyler Saffel at 3:39, Lewis Carter at 3:41.2, and then we did 3:41.3. So it was a pretty tight field. After our first round of qualifying, I went to go try to beat Lewis to bump us up. And that's when I noticed second gear really just didn't do anything. So real quick, Meyer Shad ran to the pit. Meyer adjusted the second gear band. We go for our bracket. And I think my first draw, I had a bye. And then our second run was Joey Adelman. I met him in the finals in 2021. So no slouch. I know he's good on the tree. So that was my strategy against dirt drags. Just tree people. So we did that, got around. Second gear worked, so I was like, all right, we're doing okay. Our next draw was Tiffany, which shout out to, I believe Tiffany put Lewis out the round prior. So there was some upsets. I know Patrick Brown got around Chris Patterson. I can't remember who beat Tyler. No, Tiffany beat Tyler Saffel. So again, there were some upsets, and that's what I kept telling everybody. I was like, it doesn't matter if you sleep on the tree or they blow the tires off. And the problem with dirt drags on that track specifically is if you're behind, it's very hard to catch traction and like gain, because it's only a 200-foot track. It's over in the first 50 feet, in my opinion. So yeah, we went against Tiffany. We ended up getting the win there. Second gear is on the fritz. Our next round was Patrick Brown. And if you guys don't remember, I lost him last year in dirt drags. I also lost to TJ Frey in Hub City. I looked at Dave, I looked at Patrick, I looked at everyone, and I basically said, I'm not losing to this. So we got on the line, left. I think I beat him on the tree from what I remember, and we got the win. Second gear is completely gone. So we just went first, second, third, and got around him. So I was super happy about that. That put us into the finals. We were against LS Brian. He was just super consistent, and he's very good at the tree. And his truck, it was, for a gas vehicle, he did outstanding. So we go stage, and I slept on the tree. He got around me, but we went out at 490 points. At this point, we're going into the sled pull. We are tied with Lewis. We're tied with Lewis, and Tyler Saffel went out early. Chris Patterson went out early. So I think me and Lewis are up a little bit, but we're tied. And I told everyone in the crew we were swapping stuff over. Meyer pulled the valve body, cut the second gear band out, roughed up the drum, slipped a slip-in second gear band. We modify a second gear flex band to slip in. He roughed up the drum, and you get about 2 passes with it like that. So Meyer did that, myself, Owen, Gordon the fourth, David pitched in, and just the whole team took over. We had 2 hours, bolt all our sled pull stuff on. Meyer did the trans, and we got it done in time for the drivers meeting. And we drew chips for sled pulling. I ended up being like the third to last hook on the first round. And if there was ever an event that I want it to come down to where I get to either win or lose, this sled is definitely my pick. So just watched, read the track, saw it starting to get a little better in areas, worse in others. And I gotta be honest, between Steve Burton and James Vaness, those two really taught me everything I've learned thus far about reading these tracks. So we did the best we could. Shad put us in a beautiful spot, and we went fuel only on the first sled pull, 359 feet. Now Tiffany put it out there, 338 feet. So I had David stand around like 310, 320. Once I got past David, I knew we were getting close to first place. Then I saw like a bunch of disturbed dirt where I think Tiffany spun out. Once we got to her spot, I just unlocked the converter and just kind of let the truck slow down. There's no extra points for going further. Like if you beat someone by an inch or 15 feet, it's worth the same amount of points. So we had secured our first round win. By this point, we were in first place. Then I heard they tightened up the sled quite a bit, and I was like, bet, we're gonna do this again. So our first pull, 359 feet at 29.7 mile per hour. Watched everybody pull. We chip drawed again, re-teched in, and we ended up being, I think, 2/3 of the way back, maybe halfway. So we got to watch a bunch of people pull, and then we pulled again. And all I did was I turned on a little bit of nitrous around the 200-foot mark, and we went 354 feet at 29.4. I felt this sled get heavy earlier, and I was like, nah, you ain't gonna win this. So I started grabbing nitrous, and we kept the sled going. And we ended up winning our second heat of pulling. So we ended the event at 3,940 points. So over the entire event, we dropped 60 points total, which was kind of like a low-key personal goal. I wanted to be better than last year. And last year I wanted to be better than the year before. So our first year we won with 3,880 points. Last year we won with 3,910 points. This year we won with 3,940 points. So again, there's no bonus points for that. I really wanted to be better than I was last year. And it was not nearly as easy, I feel like, as last year. We had to drag race a lot faster. We had to go further in dirt drags. We leaned on the motor harder in dirt drags. I leaned on the motor harder pulling. We certainly leaned on it really heavy with dyno, but at the end of it, your top 5 was Tyler Saffel, who also got the Carnage Award. He bowed his front center link, or broke it, so his tires went like this, and it was pretty wild watching from the sidelines, that's for sure. But he was in dangerous territory up until you had that problem on the first hook. But he came in 5th overall, then 4th overall. You had Bryant Moore, Duramax. Then 3rd place, shout out to Tiffany Lovett, upstate New York, or I believe just New York in general. Her LB7 Duramax. Again, guys, I know I said this before, those 8,000-9,000 horsepower trucks, they get up there, and she was consistent. She heads up drag raced, got some points there. She wasn't slow. She dynoed really well. I believe it was like 1,100 horsepower. Again, this is single turbo stuff here. I believe hers is an S400, if I remember correctly. And then she killed the sled pull. She also did extremely well in dirt drags too. So again, guys, if you have that 800-900,000 horsepower truck, she won, I believe, $2,500, got a trophy, big check, the whole 9. And she killed it. She should be damn proud of herself. 2nd place, Chris Patterson, Unrivaled Diesel, Texas team. Again, just fantastic performance. Those guys hurt the trans in dirt drags, went out early, got the trans swapped around for sled pull, and of all the times that Chris has sled pulled at King of the Street, this was by far the best it has ever looked. I believe both poles were over 300 feet, and it didn't break nothing. It was smooth-ish. And again, like, 2nd place, I mean, we came in 2nd place at UCC this year, and I still felt hell of accomplished. So again, no slouch, 3,000 horsepower. And again, just one of those competitors that no matter where he's at, he's always gonna still fight. And you always plan for it. You always gotta. When I know Chris Patterson is going to be at an event, I've already counted myself out on the dyno pretty much. Like I'm like, all right, you can have first place. We'll battle for second. So again, big congratulations to them. And then really, you know, again, my wife, my kids, they give up so much time for me to do this, and yeah, I like it. I like to make it worth their while. I like to make it worth my friends' whiles that give up vacation time, family time, their personal time to come support us. I always try to make sure that when we're there, I brought the best truck I possibly could bring. And I don't like wasting anybody's time, especially my own either. So big thank you to them for always tolerating the long nights, the weekends away, the insane money we spend on these things. And then just my crew, Meyer, Shad's wife Kennedy, they all flew out from Utah to be here. Gordon and Gordon the fourth, that's Gordon's little boy if you guys didn't know that. They drove, I think, 2 hours, brought the camper. Gordon fed us, Sarah fed us as well, but Gordon just personal chefed us. We had the best roast beef sandwiches on Sunday night after the award ceremony. So again, big thank you. David, just covering down on work while I packed, while I prepped, bringing out his enclosed so people have more places to sleep. And overall, I mean, David did the no prep. He did go out first round. We got one more test pass Saturday, but again, he's just, I mean, we give him a lot of hell for not being like super, you know, in-depth help, but anything we needed, whether it was just, we sent him to get fuel. He also handed us tools. He also got in there and started helping us with the sled pull setup. So again, you can't do it without him. Keely got us all the drinks, some of the food, made sure that just everything ran smooth. And she also did it with 2 kids. David and Keely's friend Kendra came out. Again, just one more person to help do just anything. So I appreciate all of them and their time as well. As far as our sponsors, guys, you already know, like the shop sponsors my truck. A lot of the parts we buy now, David pays for half of them, I pay for half of them. I also pay for half of his stuff, so I don't really know how much that balances out, but obviously with our shop, it helps. Like I have more room to work. I have awesome equipment to be able to use, so it helps. Dynamite for some of the nastiest 250% overs you're ever gonna see. We also run their rail sensor. Then we picked up a new fuel sponsor over the past couple weeks. If you guys didn't know, Exergy has jumped on board. They helped us out in a big way with some 14 mil pumps for next year. And we also run the Exergy relief valves as well. So this truck runs their 6.7 Exergy relief valve. I believe it's a 2800 bar. So basically it might as well be a rail plug, but it does have a little bit of give there. We had Wagler, again, Street Fighter is the same engine you saw us build in that shop there, is the same engine that's in here. Absolute units. I mean, you can't ask for much better. And Wagler did the machine work on this short block here. And again, killer work. Austin, Jeremy, hats off to you guys every time. Fluid damper, I mean, just, they don't fall off. Keep it quiet, keep it balanced. Nick always keeps us well serviced. I appreciate that. Fire punk, again, what I learned on the dyno, a lot of the, like some of our shocks, as well as some of our fab stuff comes from Fire Punk. So again, big thank you to those guys for not only teaching me quite a bit, but also selling some pretty awesome products as well. Air Dog, again, I wanted to make sure that we used a pump that not only was something that would live a long time, like a lot of you guys know, we have that modified pump for UCC. That is not a pump that everyone can buy. We used a pump on here. It's the 220 5G, the same one anyone else can buy. There you have it, 2,000 horsepower plus, again with one of these, backed it up. Awesome lift pumps. New Performance Auto, Steve over there, whether it's fire rings, full engine builds, engine machine work, sometimes coming in clutch with just like letting us use equipment, extra engine parts that I might have forgotten to order. Sometimes just something as small as a freeze plug that I forgot. Steve and his crew, they're always there to help us, and we appreciate that in a big way. Manton, again, their push rods, their valve springs from PDD. We have this incredible air filter. If you guys look at this truck, it is filthy dirty. We ran an air filter all weekend, absolutely zero issues whatsoever. Compressor wheel still looks great, leading us right into our next sponsor there, Forced Inductions. Our turbo setup again is the Midwest ball bearing S400 that we got from our good buddy over at Black Tie Race Fab, John Strato. And then we run a G57 based 110 millimeter compressor wheel, GTR 55 from them. Same setup from UCC, it just takes a beating. Both those turbos are fantastic. Moving right along, diesel performance converters. I mean, we only pulled the converter out just because it had been so long. I sent it to Phil. Phil called me, said it still looks great. He's gonna seal it back up, send it back. I'll have him go through this one just for whatever. But we went all weekend on a converter. We weren't easy on it at all. This truck, for the most part, weighed around 6,800 pounds unless we were sled pulling. So we were moving, putting some power through that converter, without a doubt. Also, shout out to PDD for all the transmission parts. If it's for my own personal truck, they usually give us quite a big discount, and I appreciate Will, Todd, Meyer, Tessa, David, Pedro, Lonan, Tim, I guess, Griff, Baron, all those guys over there. Miss you guys. Some days more than others, I guess you could say. But we also have Hot Shot Secret. You guys saw us build this engine. We put brake-in oil in it. I changed it. And this is the same oil that we drag raced at Wagler on, dynoed at Hub City, all that. We still haven't changed it. Hot Shots oil, by far my favorite engine oil you could put in one of these. And I sell it. I believe in it. It's in my stuff. On the dyno, we use their race fuel additive that mixes with 4 gallons of fuel. Again, I think there's some magic there that helps with the diesel fuel to help make more horsepower. And then the rest of the weekend, we ran their everyday treatment. I put it in my Duramax, my Ford, this truck. I put their gas additive in my side-by-side. Like, I am a firm believer in it, and I do not try to mislead people on that. Like, it's the best stuff I've ever used. Moving on, we appreciate the OG Tuna, Gordon, just, man, coming in clutch this year. This thing ran fantastic, and I couldn't do it without him at all. GL Tuning Solutions, my man Gordon. He's taught me a lot. Couldn't do it without him, whether it's the food. I talk to Gordon probably more than anyone else in my life besides David and my family, at least once, twice, 3 times a week. And I can tell you right now, when I linked up with him in 2012, I don't know where I'd be without him. I'm trying to think here. I'm gonna look at the door. Oh, how can I forget? Then we also have WP Developments. My man Ethan, sorry, it's been a long day. I just wanted to get this outro shot. I apologize, Ethan and Brittany. But when I first met Ethan, I really kind of thought he was a prankster, giving me a hard time. And we have grown to be quite tight through drag racing, especially in ODSS. And what Ethan has brought to the table, not only in advice on a shop and just life advice, but also being able to use the Max 5 for drag racing especially. He has really opened it up. The things I've learned have made this truck more consistent. It's easier on it as well. And we're starting to implement some of that over into David's truck as well. So again, Ethan, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And then last but certainly not least, we also have industrial injection. That's the cylinder heads we use. We sell quite a few other brands. I always give customers the option, especially on like the lower horsepower stuff, because I feel like a lot of companies offer very similar products. When it comes to the big power stuff, that's usually who we lean to. I like the program over there that they got with between Dustin and Brighton, but their cylinder heads, in my opinion, best on the market. Awesome valves, good valve springs, awesome port work, and to them it's more than just about what it flows on a flow bench. How does it perform in the truck? And I feel like that is one of the most overlooked things. Not only is the port flow important, but the velocity and the swirl makes a huge difference. So anyway, guys, congratulations to all of the competitors. If you weren't even in the top 5, you know, doesn't mean that you didn't deserve to be there. That event, one break, one bad thing. You know, I read a lot of people's like overview posts and stuff. Like all it takes is one bad pull, one bad race, one bad dyno hit, a bad street drive, and it's hard to come back from that. It is, especially like this year for us, dropping only 60 points the entire event. I think Chris only dropped like 110. Tiffany dropped, I think, like 130, 140. That's very small drops to try and beat. So don't get discouraged if this was your first time or you want to try it. This, again, I do UCC and I do KOS. They're both very hard for very different reasons. KOS to me is a little bit more affordable because you can't swap the motor. So a lot more people think long game. And that's how we've always looked at KOS is I don't need to necessarily win everything, but I got to do pretty good at everything. So, you know, you got 150 or 1,500 points worth of speed, whether that's dirt drags, regular drags, and then your dirt drag qualifying time. Then you have 1,000 points of can your truck sled pull. Then you have 1,000 points of can it actually drive on the street. And then you have 500 points for a dyno. So again, very well balanced in my opinion. And you guys can see on my truck, like it sled pulls extremely well. We got our full 1,000 points, and every year we get better at drag racing. The first year we bracket raced. Last year we heads up, we didn't have a cage, so we were capped. This year we showed up with a cage and we went about, I think we went an extra round. Dirt drags this year, we turned up our game. I was better on the tree, and you know, that's what it's all about, is how can you be better for next year. If you're watching this and you want to do it, I'm not sure when Sarah wants to do it again, but it sounds like, I know she had said it was her last year, and I can understand why she had originally said that, but due to a ton of support, you know, I think she's going to do it again. And if you're a company or a small shop or anything, and you're looking for an event to sponsor, we'll sponsor it again next year if she does it. This will be my 3rd year as a sponsor for it. I don't feel like I waste my money putting it in Matt and Sarah's hands. Again, this year, cash prizes, crazy. Before we even got out of the sled pull area, they had the big checks. We had our trophies, we had our cash. The event ran relatively smooth for 24 trucks, trying to do all of that in a weekend. Matt Giordano did a great job of not only organizing the no prep, but running it, and it let Matt and Sarah just focus on the event, and it ran smoother than it's ever ran. Yeah, to all the competitors, I hope to see everyone back next year. As for us, I think, I'm not gonna say we're done, but I think we're done with this truck. I want to do something different with it, and I feel like the first time I won it, I was like super pumped. Last year when I won it, I was really excited just because it was the first year that David and I had our business. And then this year, like, again, it felt good, but it's like anything. It's like drugs or anything, I guess. Like, you know, the high gets less every time. So obviously I love that they pulled out the stops, different trophies, big checks, all that stuff. Like it was awesome, and no disrespect to anybody there, but I think at least for this truck, like we've proven a point. It doesn't take a deck plate. It doesn't take crazy, stupid money to do it. It doesn't even take a stupid light truck to do it. This thing's a tank, you know. I think at the end of the day, like, you guys watched us build this sled pull setup. We've been using the same setup for 3 years. People look at it, take pictures of it. Like, you could make this setup at home. Like I did it with a MIG welder back in 2020. You know, you can buy Trux's tires off Summit Racing. We run factory dually wheels off of a 3rd gen Dodge in the rear. You guys watched us put the motor together. You guys know what the turbos are, what the fueling is. I don't know what to tell you. One last thing before we end this video, guys. Big thank you, Matt and Sarah. They plan all this all year long. They deal with all of us in the group chat. They deal with all of the attitudes, all of the whining, all of the complaints, all the rule changes. And at the end of the day, they threw us an awesome welcoming party. And they also catered our food and had it cooked at the track. So we had breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and it was awesome food as well. No disrespect to Gordon, but it was just one of those gestures. They didn't have to do that, and they decided to. And all of the Smoke and Speed crew, especially Jill. Jill does with a ton of the crap too, all of the prima donnas, everything. I'm sure I can be a bit to handle at times, so I appreciate them. And the Smoke and Speed crew again for just putting on a good event, dealing with all the attitudes. Again, it's no easy feat, and it's not lost on any of us. I feel like when Sarah said this was the last year, clicked with a lot of people, the pressure they put under. At one point I had offered to take it over, not necessarily because I wanted to, but I felt like it might be my turn to try and do it. But it's a daunting task. Track rental, equipment rental, equipment upkeep, dyno. They ended up buying a dyno just for this event. Then they also, you know, the food, all of the staff, making sure the racetrack's happy, keeping everyone from being stupid in the pits, all the camper organization and tent rentals that were done by Jill. It's a lot, and I feel like for all the competitors that were there, like, make sure you say your thank you. I know a ton of them are super grateful, but if you forgot or think you might want to say it again, I'm sure they won't get tired of hearing thank you. And again, if it's something that you're looking for a way to support the event, I believe Sarah does do kickers on the sponsor. You'd have to message her. I'm not sure what the minimum is, but if you're looking to support a great event that seems to grow, it kind of shrunk for a little while and it's picked back up. This was a huge year, 24 trucks, no slouches. And also shout out to Robbie Garcia. Missed us so much, flew all the way out just to say hello. And man, that dude's jacked. I don't know what his workout routine is, but that man is built. So anyway, guys, as far as the KOS thing, I covered it. I really hope Sarah does it again. I heard she is. As soon as we get a date, I will let y'all know. Get entered. It's anybody's game. Again, yes, this year it took 22,000 horsepower truck. Last year it didn't. We didn't need to make that much power. But again, you had Tiffany sneak up into the top 5. You also had Bryant as well. Again, not a huge power truck at 4th place. And Tyler Saffel, another Virginia guy. Obviously, I'm not a native, but that's where I live now. So 1st and 5th, going to Virginia, not a bad thing. And hopefully you guys like this video. I'm gonna take not a long break, but there will be a little pause in videos. I just kind of want to get reset, get caught up on a ton of customer work. So hopefully you guys like this one. Drop your comments down below. Subscribe if you are not already. And as always, guys, I will catch y'all on the next one.